Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I've got game number 2 of a best of 3. Game 1 was spectacular. I'd actually go as far to say it's one of the most solid, enjoyable, fun Protoss vs Terran games I've seen in quite a while. But yeah, it makes sense because the two players are pretty special too. So anyway, we are in game number 2, it's on Whirlwind, and in the top right position spawning as the blue Protoss player, it is none other than XMG's ToD. And his opponent down in the bottom right, the red Terran player, MarineKing Prime. Oh yeah, this is where the fun definitely starts happening. Game number 2, then the vertical spawn positions as well. That makes things exciting because cross spawns, this is a very large map. Vertical spawns, you've got not a quick rush distance, but a little bit quicker. The natural can get dropped quite easily by MarineKing. The main potentially could get dropped quite nicely by ToD. And if we look back to game number 1, remember ToD, he was just going for it. Absolutely crazy. So he was constantly harassing with zealots and stuff. It was mad. If I was that Terran player in that situation, I'd be pulling my hair out. If anyone ever plays me on ladder, right? The way to beat me on ladder or in any game of StarCraft is just drop me everywhere. Like, I can deal with it, that's not the point. Like, it's not that my multitasking is terrible, it's not great. I'd argue that my multitasking was actually the weakest part of my play as a whole, but just the annoyance of it. Do it once, I'll be like, fair enough. If you start dropping everywhere and do it for more than, like, once, maybe twice, I will just, half the time, I'll just be like, screw this, GG, and leave the game, because I can't bear it. Gah! Playing against ToD, well, ToD would annihilate me anyway, but beside the point, ToD is just, that sort of playstyle does my head in, but ToD, ooh, does he see the CC first? Yes, he does! Good little scout out there, now knows precisely what his opponent's doing. Will he pull the probes out of gas again? Yes, he does! So he switches this up. He did this game number 1, remember? Pull the probes out of gas so he can start up that Nexus. Make sure that his economy is looking fairly equal. He's going to harass again. Game number 1, that probe was doing such a good job. It was the little probe that most certainly could. But bringing 2 additional SCVs down just means that there's the hope, really, that actually this command center won't get delayed at all, because that's what you don't really want to happen if you are going CC first. It's important that's there. But ToD pulling back his probe, waiting for the shields to get back up, ready to start harassing, but already MarineKing knows what his ploy is. He knows the plan, and he's like, well, I'll pull down another SCV. We need to make sure this isn't delayed, that's the important thing. 2 additional barracks coming down, so identical build out of MarineKing at the moment. Meanwhile, up here for ToD, he's going for a similar build too. Pulled the probes out of gas, took the expansion, got a cybernetics core. See how it all pieces together, it's really nice. But the first ACD might get killed, it's just managing to pull away. But this probe should now run back home. Skedaddle over to the other side because he can't really achieve much more. You can see that Orbit Command's morphing, and that's pretty much it. He's definitely going to die because the Marines, nothing more to be done here. Difference from ToD this game is he didn't get the Zealot down. Game number 1 he got a Zealot, and the Zealot was wandering up here now, harassing that Marine. Not bothering with this time, skipped the Zealot completely to get a slightly sooner Stalker. Also, he saved the minerals, so he's just been able to spend the minerals elsewhere, which is clearly good news, because anything that you spend which is really wasted money isn't too much worth it. So, ToD this game, I'd say, arguably getting a minor improvement on his build. And that's going to be bad news really for MarineKing, because when we look at the previous game, he wasn't doing amazingly well against ToD's build before it was refined up and really doing some nice stuff. But everything going quite smoothly. Near players in chat. Ooh, a supply block there actually coming down. Not a huge one, but a supply block at 30 is actually quite frustrating. That is quite a large supply block. It lasted a good few seconds, which at this level of play, just a few seconds can potentially be devastating. That was probably about 5-6 seconds of a supply block, which is the sort of thing you want to avoid. If you're getting that at 30 supply, it's going to have a knock-on effect regardless of how you look at it. But yeah, we do still see Engineering Bay coming down, so all of this plays similar to game number 1 out of MarineKing. Actually, I'd argue that this is identical, precisely the same. Stim, +1 going to get started. Meanwhile for ToD, what's he doing? Well, he's adding on the Forge and also the second gateway. Again, just the same as game number 1. The only variation, this is basically a complete copy of the first game, with the exception that ToD did not get down the Zealot. That means that he's got 100 more minerals to play with than he did have in the previous game. It might not make a huge difference, but it's enough. I'm also, if I'm not mistaken, this engineering bay is quite a bit quicker than game number 1 as well, because or Todd's Forge was later, either or. Basically just means that the upgrades not quite the advantage Todd had in game number 1 in terms of the upgrades, unless of course he starts chrono boosting like a boss, but his chrono boost was just spent somewhere else. It's been chrono boosting out probes, so Todd going absolutely to the max in terms of economy. MarineKing also playing a bit safer, getting that bunker up, making sure that no damage can be getting done, the factory coming down as well. Double tech lab, that's different too, a little bit heavier in the Marauders. Also got the option to start combat shield slightly sooner, or concussive shell if it's wanted. There's the robotics bay, robotics facility, plus 2 gateways, and Todd just teching up really quite nicely. Of course, I haven't reminded everyone actually in this game, but you can, of course, check out me live on Twitch now. I can stream at long last. Twitch.tv/Madals is where it will be. Follow that channel, because I'm not going to just be casting StarCraft on that. I'm going to be playing StarCraft. I'm going to be playing other games, maybe even casting some other games, things like Infinite Crisis. Probably some League of Legends as well, potentially some other fun things as well. If you've got a game you'd like to see me check out, let me know, because that'd be swish. It'd be awesome. I love it. Come say hi to me in the chat, be like, hi guys, and it'll be all really hyperactive. Anyway, we do see a move out. This is quite an unusually timed move out by MarineKing. He's going to have +1 and stim, but no medevacs. Starport not yet finished. Todd, on the other hand, is getting down the 2 proxy pylons. Notice he always gets 2. He's blocking potential expansions, ninja expansions, which go untoward, but Todd moving out, he's going to see that oh, is he going to see? Yep. Okay, there we go. He spots it. Does he grab the observer? Todd must have seen that. Come on, Todd. Todd, did he see? Did he see? Yeah, he did. He's pulling units forward. He's going to go and poke at them, making sure that he's all ready, getting some more units warping in. Without the medevacs, you've got to be very careful, especially with a good number of sentries. Could just get worked down. 1 marauder goes down, 2 marauders, and 3 marauders could potentially die here. A little bit frustrating, but a small gap in the force field. That means units are able to sneak their way through. But Todd activating phone overcharge. He's like, well, come at me, bro. See if I care. I've got a Colossus on the way and a cannon on my base. It's like a planetary fortress mixed with a whirlpool. Anyway, this is all going pretty nicely for both players. I'd say really the important thing is the MarineKing isn't overcommitting. He's waiting for probably the first 2 medevacs to make their way across. I don't think they're on the field yet, no. So he's not rushing up, but he is securing up to 3rd. His upgrades are looking nice too. Both players are on 1-1, so they're equal in that regard. Notice MarineKing knows exactly where the edge of Photon overcharge is. He's just sitting there like, I'm fine, I'm going to wait patiently and fine, and everything will be good. But a time warp comes down here from Todd. He wants to try and pick up a couple of units. Is going to get a few for free. May not be a monstrous number, but it's enough to make it very worthwhile. The Colossus as well, getting a few free shots off, but losing quite a few zealots. Todd losing fractionally more than that of his opponent for the time being, but the factory is going to start carrying a scouting run. Will he be able to get out alive? Yes, he will now. Todd not going to take the bait, not going to move down. His observer is still there, seeing exactly what's happening. The factory taking a little bit of damage. Of course, back at home, we do have the 2nd engineering bay coming down for MarineKing, as well as the 3rd CC and the army ready for 2-2 to get started. Todd, on the other hand, Templar Archives, a really early Templar Archives, but it's been spotted by the factory. That's frustrating. That means that the Ghost Cannon gets started sooner. Or we could see MarineKing just go for it, and he is going to do quite well. 1 Colossus surviving with 18 HP is able to knock out most of that. I think if that had gone, it would have potentially been a lot better, but there it goes. Does now get sniped off. Definitely worth moving up there, and that is where MarineKing is in quite a nice spot. And of course, everything's been scouted as well. The Templar Archives now done. This is where Todd has to make a decision. What kind of game does he play? Does he now pump nothing but Colossus? Does he grab a 2nd robotics facility and go double Colossus production, thinking his opponent will go, I know your ploy. You're only going to make a Colossus or 2 and then switch into High Templar. Maybe prevent the Ghost Academy coming down, but no, there we go. Storm is still getting started nonetheless. No Ghost Academy as of yet, but just a couple of units checking around before the 3rd floats down. Todd doesn't have a 3rd yet. If I'm not mistaken, Todd also has no idea that that's there. No, he doesn't. So he doesn't know that there's a 3rd CC yet, or a 3rd orbital command, or that this base is even thinking of getting taken. That could come back to hurt him. Oh, and the Marines and Marauders have spotted the proxy pylon, or at least proxy pylon number 1. There's a spare and another spare, but I think all of them are going to see, look at the rally point of these units. Great there by MarineKing. He's going to spot everything that's coming out and pick off all of the proxy pylons. That's actually going to be a bit of a pain for Todd. He's already supply blocked a little bit, adding on a couple more pylons and that Nexus. But, ooh, these units, are they going to see it? Yep, there we go. The next pylon has been seen. 3 now in production for Todd. He's about to get the supply block a little bit more heavily. Very frustrating. That does get him out of it temporarily. These units have stopped before they were rallied up to the top. Shame they stopped. Could have got another pylon, which would have been very nice for him. But for the moment, ToD just checking around. Gonna come and poke up here and see a supply depot wall and go, ah, you've got another expansion. And that's going to be a little bit annoying. ToD, don't know if he saw a slight little peek of medevacs there, but he is getting a warp prism down anyway. Single lone marine coming to check to see if there was a third base of ToD. Not making that mistake again that we saw previously. And all in all, I'd say that MarineKing is actually looking a lot more solid this game. He's ahead in workers for a start. Before we even factor in yours, he's a base up. He's getting an upgrade lead too. +1 armor, not yet done for ToD, whereas 1-1 already done, 2-2 nearly finished for MarineKing. And oh no, the Nexus, this is probably going to be cancelled. Definitely cancelled there. ToD, he can't even move out. He doesn't have enough High Templar to really try and engage the 6 High Templar. Do they all have Storm? That's the question. Some of them do, whether they all do. Yeah, no, 2 don't, so only 4 Storms available at the moment for ToD, but ToD is running in a couple of Zealots, going to try and pick off reinforcements, maybe some SCVs, but MarineKing, he's nicely up in terms of supply, and of course supply block ToD too. That's very frustrating for him with those additional pylons that were there. The Zealots doing a little bit of counter aggression, and MarineKing putting everything back because there's a Warp Prism in the main. Not really on your seat. There's also a High Templar there, but no Storm coming down yet, but there we go, the Storm, and ouch, down go the SCVs. The Zealots are doing a little bit of damage. Unfortunately, the High Templar will die after getting the Storm off, but in total 13 workers have been killed so far this game. More Zealots making their way across, but can ToD seriously buy himself enough time? He's trying to take the third, down expanding towards the opponent, maybe expecting MarineKing not to check there, just thinking he would never move into that expansion point, but this is looking very good for MarineKing at the moment. There's no way around that, unless there's some really good storms, where ToD could get a lot, but he's forced to cancel after the medevacs spot that there was an expansion coming down. ToD's economy is what's putting him a little bit behind at the moment. He's now supply block once more. Of course, the Colossus will pop out, but the next one won't get started. The army for ToD isn't too far behind, especially with storms. There's some great storms, could buy ToD the time that he needs. However, the Doom Drop coming in towards the main will get spotted. There's also, well, a very sizable army at the natural, both of which are going to be a little bit more tough to try and defend. There is a High Templar there ready to feed back. Some of these medevacs have an awful lot of energy on them, could actually pick it off in one. We'll wait and see. But ToD moving forward, is he going to try and engage here? It would be quite a brave move to make if he does go for it. But here we go, he is moving down. A couple of storms are going to hit. MarineKing tries to pull back some of the units, but big storms down on most of this army. Unfortunately, not enough. More Zealots trying to get warped in. Down at the south position, though, we do see that ToD's main army actually chasing down a lot of this force of infantry, but in the main base, nothing to answer the question of units here. Mass Recall comes down. ToD knows he's got to get back and defend, and that engagement did actually put ToD even further behind. He's down a lot in terms of the army supply. Great feedback though on one of those medevacs, picks up one of the full ones really nicely, but the natural now getting to see MarineKing mining so much more minerals per minute. He's got that third base up, and he now snipes off the Nexus. ToD, without that Nexus, his economy is going to be dwindling. We see that the infantry still pushing in, still trying to pick up a couple of units, still trying to deal just a little bit more damage, but look at all of this. The main is pretty much mined out. ToD's income is just the long-range mining from the natural, not looking too solid. He's trying to get the third base up as well, but with the 4th and the 5th Orbit Command now morphing in here, for MarineKing, he knows he's in a lovely spot. He's got the 2-2 upgrades, don't forget, as well, with 3-3 ever so close to completion. And this is where ToD runs into Danger Town. He's transferring a lot of probes, an awful lot of probes, enough to completely saturate and take both gases, coincidentally. But is it too little too late? That's what we're going to have to wait and see. ToD is going to have to pull off nothing shy of a miracle, and not your average miracle either. I'm talking walk on water level of miracle, biblical miracle, to make this work. And I just don't know if he can do that with this army. And of course, MarineKing in no rush at all. He's moving some SCVs down because he's trying to take the 4th next to ToD. He's just like, I'm going to expand on top of you because my buildings fly. Unfortunately, his Zealot is there though, going to be a little bit frustrating, but we'll allow the Orbiter Command to land nonetheless, and that's going to be just even more annoying. The Zealot coming back, SCVs can go and turn around. If nothing else, mules can get cooled down indefinitely. But here comes the engagement. This is where ToD is going to try and hold the storms. Okay, the Vikings picking off the Mother Support though, about to pick off the Colossus. Only 2 Vikings remain, but there's just so much infantry here. The third base is completely exposed. ToD, he's got to try and defend it. He knows that if he doesn't, it will be GG. And it may be GG anyway. The Colossus is about to go down. The infantry pushing forward, and ToD loses his entire army. GG levels out the series 1-1. That means we get an ace game, ladies and gentlemen, and an ace game makes me very, very happy. So like this video, leave a cool comment, and then subscribe, and then I'll see you at game number 3 in just a sec.